Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all, so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. So, what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juice, little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. Yes, they are, aren't they, my delicious babies? Now, then, I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you most deliciously. Yeah, I've got a drink today, my delicious babies, and this is orange juice. Okay, it's not squeezed, although I have got oranges. But what it is, you know, that fizzy sparkling water, and then when you put it together, every now and again, I fancy one of these drinks. And when you put it together, do you remember the old Orangina, my delicious little babies? You know that drink? It was like, it was like in a bottle like that, my delicious. That's what it reminds you of, my delicious little babies. What year did that come out? Just gonna have a sip, please, and thank you. It's ever so refreshing, And sometimes I like just the sparkling water. It's nice, my delicious babies. Yeah, what do they used to use? Those what do they call? You know what they're called? Those soda machines, my delicious babies. What year did they come out? Anyway, my delicious babies. I think they still sell them now, don't they? Anyway, my delicious babies. So I have yeah, I mentioned that last night, my delicious babies, that one there. 13.1 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies. The uploader, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, Shane, capital S, my delicious little babies, then space, capital B, Bordeaux. I did mention it last night, my delicious little baby, spelled Bordlr. And yeah, 7-man, Quentin Crisp, 1970, Full World in Action programme. Okay, my delicious little babies, I just thought I'd, there we are, mention it again. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay. Now the next one, my delicious little babies, this one here is, this upload happens to have 80.6 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay. Of course, this was uploaded, which you would not know, my delicious little babies, so sorry about that. 3 months ago, my delicious little babies, I was looking for the videos, there we are, and I came across this one, my delicious little babies, and capital P in your space bar in YouTube, my delicious little babies, polarity, my delicious little babies. Sorry, I'm just a bit useless, with the pronunciation with some words, my delicious little babies. I'll just spell it out for you. Capital P OLARRTY. Okay, my delicious little babies, that is polarity. Okay, my delicious little babies. And the video should read UFO whistleblower Phil Schneider. Okay, my delicious little babies, was silenced after he said this in 1995. Yes, my delicious little babies, now this is another one. Because some of these videos, like I say, and I'm going to repeat this again, when I was looking for other videos, and then, sometimes it, what's the words I want to use? It stops me, there we are, in my tracks, you know what I mean? So then I write this down, and then, do you know what I mean? Then something else will come about. You know the drill, my delicious little babies, okay? So I'm just going to repeat it again. UFO, this is what the title should read. Whistleblower Phil Schneider was silenced after he said this in 1995. Yeah, it's just, I think, is it just over 47 minutes, my delicious little babies, okay? I'm almost at the end of it, okay, my delicious little babies, because I just needed to get my video out to you all, because I'm going to be very shortly, there we are, having my lunch, my delicious lunch. So, yes. So, you see, as I always say, it's like Area 51. I've talked about this before. Now, the fact of the matter is, if there's nothing to see, then why do the hard things, my delicious little babies? There we are. Simple thing, just asking a question. But bless that dear man. He was found murdered, wasn't he? My delicious little babies, okay? Poor dear man. And And to be quite honest, okay, because I've seen him long time ago, but I completely forgot all about it, Mads Lishlik Babies, because there's just that many flipping videos, do you know what I mean, Mads Lishlik Babies, but bless that dear man and bless his dear family, because I do believe he was telling the truth, Mads Lishlik Babies, you know what I mean? Well, for myself personally, I've always believed, there we are, that there is laugh, you know, in other places, Mads Lishlik Babies, and so does, bless me dear dad, there we are, so does he, Mads Lishlik Babies, okay? So for myself personally, there we are, I'm quite happy to listen to these types of videos, okay, Mads Lishlik Babies, and the uploader, and with anybody not in that way, not in that way, he sort of stops the video, starts again, you know, like that Mads Lishlik Babies, okay? Well worth a listen to that video, Mads Lishlik Babies. Now then, the next one, Mads Lishlik Babies. Now I've just listened to this, okay, Mads Lishlik Babies. This uploader happens to have 139,000 subscribers, Mads Lishlik Babies, and it sort of triggered something else in my noddle, Mads Lishlik Babies. Now again, this is not a video that's just come up on my feed. You know what I mean? This is me looking, there we are, for other videos. Okay, my delicious little babies, you must always remember to go backwards. You say, my delicious little babies. And in the old space bar, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, and no, I am not here to upset or to depress anybody with this particular video, my delicious little babies. It's just, it's very sad, but there's something that I want to say. And the video is just over 20 minutes long, my delicious little babies. Capital S, something, space, capital S, sinister. That's the upload of my delicious little babies, Kai, with 139,000 subscribers. Okay, my delicious little babies, of course, if you add those numbers, you know, that comes to 13, doesn't it? My delicious little babies, we hear a lot about. There we are, the number 13 as well. My delicious little babies, as well as the number 12, as well as the number 9, 6. Lately, a lot of 5. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies. Anyway, and the video should read, but of course, you know, the 7 and 8s. Should read Brazil's leaked satanic tapes. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Brazil's leaked satanic tapes. Okay, my delicious little babies, and you're probably wondering, well, why am I mentioning this? Okay, the reason why I'm mentioning this is that this is to do with, apparently this practice has gone on for many decades, you know, in Brazil, my delicious little babies, you know, to do with witchcraft and everything. However, listening to this video, I had my own thoughts, there we are, from the very beginning, my delicious, there we are, little babies, okay, what I felt this was. Okay, my delicious little babies. And it's about this bless, may the little baby, beautiful little baby, may they rest in peace. This dear little, wee little lad now is only 7 years of age. My delicious little babies, you know, 7 year of age. And he went missing, and he was found, so sad, 5 days later. So very sad, but some of his organs missing, my delicious little babies, okay? And also, let's just say other parts. I'm not going to say anything else, my delicious little babies. It's just so very, very, very sad, okay, my delicious little babies. Now, what was interesting about this video, my delicious little babies, to listen to, what was interesting is that his Papa Bear father, this poor little beautiful little baby who very sadly was murdered, okay, my delicious little babies, his father was a politician, okay, my delicious little babies, and of course he ended up stepping down, okay, my delicious little babies. And others, they owned up to, there were 2 women, a mother and a daughter, then I think there were 5 men or something, and then they owned up to doing this. I personally believe, okay, my delicious little babies, that this was more to do, and I felt it right from the start. There we are, my delicious little babies. I felt this was more to do with, so sad to have to say it, organ trafficking. Okay, my delicious little babies, and sometimes when they remove other parts, okay, my delicious little babies, well, for those of us, there we are, we would sadly, there we are. I know the reason for that, my delicious little baby's kind. But what a poor little baby going to his passing like that, my delicious little baby's kind. Now, the two women who done time, my delicious little babies, apparently they're very active on Instagram, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know if you remember Michael Jackson, bless him. Okay, my delicious little babies. He did a video, didn't he? He sang a song in Brazil. Didn't he, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Of course, for our dear Michael Jackson, bless him, you know, I truly believe that he, let's just say, there we are, he said a lot of things, like when you were wearing a muzzle, he was wearing a muzzle all that time ago, and then you had the black muzzle, you had the black umbrella. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, so he was telling everybody, there we are, long, long, long time ago, there we are, my delicious little baby. It's just that came to my noddle. Okay, so with our dear, oh, sorry, excuse me, sorry, pardon me, my delicious little babies, okay. So, for some reason, like I just said, that came into my noddle. But it still doesn't change that beautiful little baby back in 1992 very sadly had his life taken. We could look at this a different way, couldn't we? You know, if his father was a politician, there we are, my delicious little baby. You know, there's a lot more, there we are, I'd say, to this. It's interesting with some of the comments, my delicious little babies, about how sad. And there was a little lass, bless her. She too, beautiful dear little soul again. She was taken as well, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So, and she was found 8 days later. Okay, my delicious little babies, how sad. How very, very, very sad. So, yeah, you know, like many of us that we are talking about this, my delicious little babies, there is a lot of harvesting. So sad. Okay, my delicious little babies, it's going on, there we are, regularly. Okay, my delicious little babies, and but like I will repeat again, I have not said this at all to upset anybody or to depress anybody, okay, but this is, there we are, real life. Okay, my delicious little babies. I was only 19 then. Yeah, 1992, my delicious little babies. Anyway, so the next one, my delicious little babies. Okay, so this one here, my delicious little babies. This one was when I was scrolling. Now this uploader happens to have 60.6 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, and it's a capital T in your space bar, my delicious little babies. Tom. Okay, space. How are you pronouncing this? Scry Louise. Okay, my delicious babies. I'll spell it out for you. Oh, crap at pronunciation. I'm awfully sorry. Capital S, my delicious little babies. Then all the rest in lowercase. Cryleus. Okay, my delicious little babies. So it's Tom Scryleus. Well, you know, my delicious. But I'm very sorry if I've, you know, mispronounced the surname. This is just over 18 minutes long, my delicious little babies. The biggest lie about work. Okay, my delicious little babies, I'll just repeat that again for you, shall I? The biggest lie about work. Okay, my delicious little babies, well worth listening to that, okay? Should anybody, like I say, have any form of an interest, please and thank you. Now, finally, my delicious little babies, okay? This upload happens to have 205,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies. I do believe that I advertised this man, bless him, not in that way with anybody. Earlier on, there we are, in my, when I started YouTube, my delicious little babies, I'd probably say about 3 years ago. Probably, I'd say, roughly. Okay, my delicious little babies, mind you, his numbers have really gone up. My delicious little babies, bless anyway. I always say bless anybody, but you'll find with these that they'll just be one-offs, my delicious little babies that I'm advertising. Capital T in the old space bar in YouTube, my delicious little babies. Timothy space capital W Ward, WARD. Okay, my delicious little babies. Yeah, I'm pleased to see his numbers are really rocketed because he's good to, there we are, he's good to listen to, my delicious little babies. Comes across to myself in the camera, there we are, very down to earth, there we are, gets to the point, doesn't talk a crock of shart, you know what I mean, because we've got plenty of those on the internet, my delicious little babies. I only like to listen, there we are, to damn well common sense with my noddle, do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies. And this video should read, the title, The Buy Bar Nothing Rebellion Has Begun. Okay, my delicious little babies. And it could change everything. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies. I'm just going to repeat that again for you, then I'm going to close my book because we need to continue to go backwards. The bar, buy, nothing rebellion has begun. And it could change everything. Yes, my delicious little babies, so let's close my book and have a discuss. So what is it that I want to say about this video, my delicious babies? Flipping books falling apart, you know, my delicious little babies. They always do, my books, you know what I mean? Right. So what's this about? So your man here, Timothy, bless him, he's talking about, he watched another video, and I know, there we are, the video that he's talking about. And this, because it was uploaded a while ago now, okay, my delicious babies. And what this is about is that this man, he went into a Walmart, my delicious babies, we've got it over here as, you know, in our old England, my delicious babies Walmart, you know, they call it Asda. Okay, my delicious babies. And, well, he walked around and he decided that he never wanted to buy anything, Okay, my delicious little babies. I know exactly, the second he said it, I thought, yeah, I've seen that video. Okay, my delicious babies. And he happens, Timothy does, he happens to enjoy listening, you know, to some of the videos of that uploader, you know what I mean, okay? Anyway, so what's the point that I want to make before I leave my video, my delicious little babies, to you all? And thank you so very much for any views, for any likes. I never receive any comments these days, my delicious little babies. So, but thank you for everything, okay, my delicious babies. Well, that's not such a bad thing, is it really, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Anyway, not meaning that disrespectfully, but, you know, I'm just not too, you know, as long as the videos that I'm advertising, there we are, that ones, please take a look at, and should they find interesting, if they could please pass them on. That's all I ask, my delicious babies. But I have to just keep saying this, you know what I mean? So it's not about subscribers, it's not about, do you know what I mean? It's about getting this, there we are, information, there we are, out, my delicious little babies. So let me get back to the matter in hand. So, yes, because like what I've said, there we are. I've listened to these two videos, these two uploaders, bless them, okay? But for myself, there we are. I've been done saying this, there we are, for years. You see, you go to work, okay? Then what gets taken out is your mortgage money, ka-ching, ching, ching, or your rent money, my delicious little babies. Then you got food. You know, then you've got clothes, you've got to clothe yourself, you know, shoe yourself, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies. Then you've got bills to pay, which are constantly going up, my delicious little babies, okay, because they never do us any favours, okay, my delicious little babies, not in all these decades, they're putrid. Anyway, my delicious little babies. So when you look at it, it goes in with the left, isn't it? And then it goes out, there we are, with the right. It's all ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense. But you constantly, there we are, and I've been saying this, there we are, for years and years and years. So no disrespect, I never used needed, sorry, to listen to any other videos to tell myself, there we are, what I've been ding, ding, dong, dong saying, there we are, for many years. Okay, they've created this material world. Yes, we have to pay bills, but like I say, I do not believe that any of us should have to pay for anything. Okay, my delicious babies, and that's my feelings on it. Full stop. You know what I mean? My delicious babies, okay? But it's like they just want you to constantly, there we are, spend ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching all the time, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? And another thing that I respected with Timothy's video, my delicious little babies, and when he said he only buys the minimal, well, I'm the same, my delicious little babies. I'm not materialistic. I'm really not, you know, my delicious little babies, okay? Anybody who knows myself will tell you that. I'm really not my delicious little babies, okay? If I really, 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 really have to go and buy something, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, then I really, really, really have to. But I cannot remember, to be perfectly honest, the last time that I purchased anything, my delicious little babies. Could it have been last year or something? Oh, I think I've purchased, one item this year, my delicious little babies, and that's a jumper, an orange jumper, bright orange, my delicious little babies. That's the only thing. Other than that, I haven't. I'm more concerned with, me washing to wash my clothes, and you know what I mean, and to use certain things, you know, because we need to shower ourselves, bath ourselves, you know what I mean? I'm more concerned with things like this, my delicious little babies, and putting food in the cupboards, you know what I mean? My delicious little babies, and food in the fridge, you know. So I'm just not material. So I would be called, I'd be called low maintenance, my delicious little babies, low maintenance, okay, my delicious little babies. But very sadly, others, there we are, have been caught in the net. There we are. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So, like, say, for example, I'm just giving an example now, my delicious little babies. Somebody could, say, earn £1,000 a month after tax, okay, my delicious little babies, which, of course, you know, that's only voluntary, my delicious little babies, okay? But like a mafia, there we are, they chase you no end to get ching, 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 this was to do with either just before the Second World War or during the Second World War, and it's only stumbled there, rightfully sir, not changing my video, a couple of weeks, my delicious little babies. Well, look how many flipping decades it's gone on for. They're robbing bees, man. There we are, that's what they are. Robbing bees, okay, my delicious little babies. And of course you get all these threats. Well, that's bullies, okay, my delicious little babies. So anyway, let me get back to the matter in hand. So, because they send the little lackeys to bully, don't they, my delicious little babies, okay? Just like the word mandatory, okay? One seemed to get that word, there we are, very wrong, my delicious little babies, okay? Anyway, so, when Timothy said that about that he doesn't buy a lot, my delicious little babies, there we are. I thought, yes, that is like music to my ears. Do you see what I mean? But like I said, others get caught in the net. So if you have got £1,000 and you've got all your bills to pay, okay, you have some in the world, okay, fair enough. Look, how others want to live, there we are, is up to themselves, isn't it? Okay, they do not clothe myself, feed me, or pay my bills. There we are. I do that. There we are. My delicious little babies. Do you understand me? But I don't think they're quite seen. So, like, every month, they maybe have to buy a new pair of jeans, new pair of shoes, or boots, or new jumpers, or, I mean, admittedly, I will go through a stage where I buy a lot, undergarments, shall we say, my delicious little babies, okay? But that's for my own happiness. You know what I mean? I want to keep me, me bosom firm and upright, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? I don't want them sagging. Okay, so I do not feel that that's too much information. I'm just done saying what I've got to be done saying. You know what I mean? So therefore, I always like to wear nice, there we are, undergarments, my delicious little babies, because it makes myself feel happier. However, I'll probably go through a stage, probably once, twice a year, and just go and buy a load of it. Okay, my delicious little babies. And then I won't buy nothing else. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, so I was really pleased to hear this, and there's a lot more, there we are, who are talking about this on the internet. There we are, my delicious little babies, because that's the world that they've locked you in. It's like some, they have to decorate every year. Mind you, I must say, I did that for years, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So, I fell into that category. But the point is, my delicious little babies, is that if one's just said to himself, well, do I really need that item? You know, it's like they're always bringing out new cars, which me personally, I just feel there we are, they're a crock of shart, you know, get an older car. There we are, any day of the week, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? They may not look all flashy and everything, but they've certainly, there we are, been made a lot better. There we are, my delicious little babies. Why do you think certain, there we are, want the older cars? Do you see what I mean? Ka-ching, 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 but they want it for their own. Do you see what I'm saying, my delicious little babies? Are you following me? So I'm very pleased. I'm liking this to see that more and more, there we are, a ding, ding, dong, dong, not being rude, disrespectful or patronistic, that they are, there we are, getting it. Okay? It's like if you walk into a supermarket, you know, then they're advertising lots of new televisions, you know, they get a larger and larger, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? You don't even have to decorate your wall. All you have to do is stick a television up. You know what I mean, my delicious babies, because you wouldn't be able to see the wallpaper or anything, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean, or the wall itself. And then they're advertising, you know, there's always the latest toasters coming out. Me personally, I use an old-fashioned grill. I've got a brand new toaster. It's a 4-1 that my dear dad bought me, still up above my head, all boxed, fully boxed. Okay, my delicious little babies. So they bring out the latest Dog and Burns. They bring out, can you see what I'm saying? So it's all the time, it's like a circle, circle, circle. There we are, going straight back to these. Do you see what I mean? There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? It's just food for thought, food for thought. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, finally, yes, we've heard about the Manchester, my delicious little babies. Now, we need to, figure of speech, we need to hold fire here. Okay, my delicious little babies, I've just got to have another sip of my, it's my Hermaid Orangina, my delicious little babies. Please and thank you. So, the fact of the matter is, my delicious little babies, we need to really hold fire here. Okay, my delicious little babies. We also have to say, and I was listening to all this on our lovely, not in that way, our lovely trending on Arconic. Okay, my delicious little babies on our old YouTube. And then if you was to click on them all, my delicious little babies, then you scroll down a bit, you should see arconic.com. So you listen to part of the video, my delicious little babies, then you can switch over to arconic.com and then listen to the rest of it. Okay, my delicious little babies, kind. It's really good, banging. Okay, my delicious little babies. So anyway, let's get back to the matter in hand. So I was listening to the video and I talked to the Dog and Burn, my delicious little babies. Okay, I talked to the videos and I say, yes, you're right there. Yes, you're right. You see, what came into my noddle, there we are, absolutely banging correct, is Jamie, bless him. Bless you, dear Jamie, okay? And bless our dear Gareth, our dear Jamie, our dear Richard, okay? They're all banging, okay? Not in that way, not in that way. And he talked about, you know, even a digital ID. Well, I thought that, there we are, straight away. You know, there's a number of things that are going on here. Only a couple of weeks ago, or over a couple of weeks ago, as a Charlie Kirk, of course, you still got one chatty about this, okay? My delicious babies. So we got to see what's going on, my delicious little babies, okay? So I'm not going to, let's just say, because I haven't heard it till this morning, my delicious little babies, okay? So I'm not going to form any view or, there we are, or opinion as of yet. Okay, my delicious little babies, because you've got to listen to, you know, well, you've got to listen to everything. So I'm not really going to form any opinion at the moment, my delicious little babies, okay? It's just like I said, it is all the timing, my delicious little babies, okay? So we do not truly know what has happened. Oh, okay, little babe. Okay, I tell you what, she's wrecked me wallpaper, my delicious little babies. Haven't you, little chin? She comes from up the road, my delicious babies. And you know, my bed, she scratched all my bed as well, my delicious. But she's got this thing about chlorine. But she taking the flipping wallpaper off, so I've got to stick that back on. Anyway, it doesn't matter, my delicious baby. You just stick it back together, don't you? But anyway, bless her. I don't tell her off. I just say, you know, if I see her, you know, I say, come on, Chin, no, please don't do that, my little baby. You know what I mean? Okay. But some little pussycats, they just scratch everything, dirt them out of the babies. But anyway, she's no trouble, bless her. Anyway, sorry about that, Mad Delicious Little Babies. I do get distracted. Anyway, I think she's waiting because she comes in, see has Auntie Carla got any grub for her. So I'm not going to form any opinion at this point, Mad Delicious Little Babies. We need to hear what's going on here. And of course, it's to do with the synagogue. But you see, for myself, Mad Delicious Little Babies, you see, I believe there's good and bad in every colour, every culture, okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies, not being disrespectful or rude, whatever colour we are, okay? There's good and bad in everybody, okay? So I do not believe that, one's, because we do not know fully what's happened at this moment in time, Mad Delicious Little Babies should lose their lives if they haven't done anything wrong. Okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies, but we've got to see what they're brewing. There we are, that's the word, what they're brewing, Mad Delicious Little Babies, Kai. So I was listening and I was totally agreeing with dear Jamie, bless him, there we are. And he was also talking about, like cultures, you know what I mean? If you was to go to another country, there we are. It's only ding, ding, dong, dong, what I've been saying, there we are, for years. Because if you go to another country and you're going to live there in that country, then there we are. It is respectful to learn, there we are, the language. I've been long time saying this, there we are, for years, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But I was getting where Jamie was coming from, and they're now up to, is it 11,900 subscribers, my delicious little babies. Oh, I'm delighted when I see all the numbers going up, my delicious little babies. Anyway, and of course you can join their arconic.com for $1.99 for the first month, and I think is it $7.99 after that. Anyway, but you get all of the information and all the videos. Oh, sorry, pardon. You know what it is? This is gassy. Sorry, please excuse me. Okay, my delicious little babies. Anyway, so yeah. Well worth it. Anyway, a Mad Delicious Little Babies, good value for ka-ching, for money. Okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies, anyway. So, you can't, this is what I'm saying. And then, of course, what dear Jamie was saying, bless him, is that, so if one's come to our country, there we are, then it should be the same, Mad Delicious Little Babies, okay? It should be the same, okay? So, but as we've been seeing in years, I'm not going to say about everybody, Mad Delicious Little Babies, neither did Jamie say that about everybody, okay? But there are some who are not wanting to do that, Mad Delicious Little Babies, which of course, what does it do? It's ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense, After a while, there we are, it rubs others up the wrong way, Mad Delicious Little Babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, but we've got to see what this is really about, okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies, not just what we've been told or shown, because we've got to remember they've been doing all these kind of things, there we are, for decades, okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies, okay? So we need to really look into this, okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies. Just seems, I'm looking at, you had that happen in America with Charlie Kirk, and then you got this here. Oh, and then I was told this morning, Mad Delicious Little Babies, up the road from where I live, it was on Reservoir Road, at the top by the Tesco's, Mad Delicious Little Babies, armed old Bill, armed. And who told me, said they've never in their life, in all the years that they've lived here, ever seen that many old Bill, Mad Delicious Little Babies, and they're all armed, so they're not your normal old Bill, you know what I mean? Your normal bobbies, well, they haven't been that for decades, Mad Delicious Little Babies, you know what I mean? They're, they're officers, decades ago, they used to be, there we are, constables, you know what I mean? There's a very big difference, okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies. But yeah, he said they're armed. So I don't know what's gone on up there, Mad Delicious Little Babies. I was trying to wrap me noddle to see if I could find out off somebody what's gone on, Mad Delicious Babies. I mean, not being nasty, I just want to find out what's going on, you know what I mean? Because it's only a hop, skip and a jump from where I live, Mad Delicious Little Babies, you know what I mean? But of course, it must be something, mustn't it, to have them armed? Okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies, okay? But apparently there's a lot of them. Anyway, so that's the end of my video, Mad Delicious Little Babies. Nothing more to report today, okay? But yeah, well worth a listen to all of, there we are, these videos, Mad Delicious Little Babies. So if ones can then start to see, you see, it's like they, not only have they enslaved us, getting back to what I was talking about, work and everything, Mad Delicious Little Babies, not only have they enslaved us, but they don't want you to save, or they don't want you to, they just want you to keep spending. Do you know what I mean? Ching, ching, ching. That's what they want you to keep doing. So then it's circle, 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 circles back. Do you see what I mean? There we are, my delicious little babies. I've known this, there we are, for years. For absolute years. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's the end of my video. So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. Sorry, you only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And how I love you also. You're wonderful, fabulous and delicious. There we are. And I love you. Okay, my delicious little babies, yeah. And I've seemed to have got quite a few views to my shorty video just before I go, my delicious little babies, yeah. It's the hole and the handle. You see what I mean? So you can look at this, there we are, in different ways. There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, and I'll just leave you with that one. Okay, my delicious little babies, but thank you to anybody who's viewed it and thank you for the likes with any of my videos. Okay, my delicious little babies, I try my best to, there we are, to help or to get my videos out so I can give you this information. But it just depends what mood YouTube's in, my delicious little babies, okay? So until my next video, thank you so very much once again for listening. How I love you all, sir. You just take care of yourselves now and please try to take care of others.